For years, the BRICS countries have been perceived as a budding balance to Western economic supremacy. However, it is now evident that they are taking significant steps toward overcoming it by establishing revolutionary systems such as their alternative financial structure, which has been a hot topic lately. This is not just an attempt to challenge the status quo, but a bold move to reshape global economic dynamics. In an exclusive conversation with the TASS news agency, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergey Ryabkov sheds light on the BRICS' most recent audacious strategies. Ryabkov's comments offer a rare glimpse into the strategic thinking behind BRICS' push to reshape global trade and monetary policies. As the driving force of the bloc's initiatives this year, Russia seems set on accelerating the economic integration among members. So, what are BRICS' plans, and how might this impact international financial institutions and the existing status quo? This interview cuts through the speculation with key details straight from an authority on the matter. Ryabkov revealed several significant proposals aimed at reducing dependence on Western financial systems and establishing more autonomous economic mechanisms. At the forefront of these initiatives is the development of an alternative mutual settlement system akin to the European currency unit, the ECU, the predecessor to the euro, to safeguard trade against exchange rate fluctuations. This bold move underscores BRICS' determination to create a financial system less reliant on the West, offering a clear indication of their commitment to economic independence. It is impossible to continue to tolerate the dictates of the West in this area, Russia's Sherpa put it right, showing BRICS' guts to shake things up. We had anticipated this concept a few months ago, and as always, you can find more information in the description if you want to know more. Sergey Ryabkov spoke about the ongoing speculation about the creation of a common currency for the BRICS countries and the complexities involved in switching from the US dollar for the international transactions. The concept of a shared currency is still being considered, signifying a long-term goal that could potentially improve the economic self-sufficiency and stability of BRICS countries. The debate appears multifaceted and involves different perspectives. In a recent statement, Mauricio Lirio, Sherpa of Brazil at the G20, reflecting the position of Brazilian President Lula da Silva, informed the TASS that discussions on a common BRICS currency are ongoing. However, for those interested in financial and payment system news, check out this playlist for the latest updates on upcoming developments and past discussions by BRICS. Following this, the discussion moves to the ambitious idea of establishing a BRICS exchange of raw materials. This concept, which aligns with President Putin's proposal for a BRICS Grain Exchange, aims to challenge the current dominance of Western countries in setting prices for agricultural products and raw materials. By creating a platform for trading such commodities, BRICS countries seek to gain more control over pricing mechanisms, which is particularly relevant given their significant contributions to global grain and raw materials markets. So, where is this idea coming from, you ask? Well, the BRICS countries are basically not happy with the current system where Western financial institutions hold substantial power. BRICS are particularly dissatisfied with how their export prices, especially for agricultural products, are determined by the US and Europe. In a meeting with Russian agriculture officials, President Putin acknowledged that the current international grain trade system is biased. He pointed out that France produces less grain than Russia, but has a greater influence on global prices because it hosts the major grain exchange. Putin emphasized the need to reform the system to make it more equitable. This includes introducing a new pricing and trading model and establishing a new exchange for trading raw materials and agricultural goods. Putin's firm support for a BRICS-led grains exchange is resonating well with member countries, who are growing as key players in international grain trade. Russia, with its massive 22% share in the global wheat export market, is a significant player in this initiative. Even Brazil, despite holding a smaller 1.3% share, can gain from an alternative system for pricing grain. BRICS countries are ambitious in their trading aspirations, extending beyond wheat to other important grains. They account for 40% of global rice exports, with India leading at 33%. Additionally, they hold a 6% share of corn exports, with Brazil leading at 4.6%. Notably, several BRICS countries are also major importers of these grains. Therefore, a balanced trading system is crucial for their collective interests. Establishing a BRICS Grain Exchange or a broader raw materials exchange, as proposed, would enhance pricing autonomy and protect member nations from price volatility and speculative influences common in Western markets. As Putin rightly noted, these things of a speculative nature, they of course ultimately affect consumers. And this is the problem that all governments are trying to solve. Russia's Sherpa to BRICS echoed this sentiment. In his words, this shows that BRICS has room to grow, to develop. For example, the creation of a BRICS exchange of raw materials, commodities. Why not, he said, highlighting the potential for the bloc to assert greater control over key sectors such as energy and agriculture. However, the diplomat was quick to clarify that the BRICS initiative would steer clear of cartel-like methods, recognizing the potential negative impact on global trade. Instead, he advocated for harmonization of approaches and stabilization of key commodity markets, allowing both producers and consumers to enjoy greater predictability. The idea for this innovative project comes from the United States' long history of dominating the global grain market, which dates back to after the World War II. Since then, the world's largest and most diverse commodity exchange, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, has set market standards based on its grain prices. The American dollar has been the main currency used to clear transactions, giving the US indirect control over global food prices, even in developing countries like those in BRICS. This situation has become harder for Russia, whose oil and gas industry has been hit by Western sanctions. As a result, grain and other food exports have become critical sources of foreign currency for Russia. It is crucial also for other BRICS nations to break away from Western trading platforms, as the expanding group now has major grain exporters and importers. Together, BRICS countries export about 25% of the world's wheat and, as already mentioned, 40% of rice and 6% of corn. This shows how important the BRICS collective is in the global food market, and how a BRICS-run exchange could affect commodity pricing and market stability. Furthermore, some BRICS nations like China, India, and South Africa import a lot of grains, emphasizing the need for a fairer trading system that serves their collective needs. Creating a BRICS-controlled exchange for commodities and agricultural products would empower producers and consumers by setting prices independently. It could also bring stability to vital commodity markets amid global food security concerns and economic shifts. This initiative challenges the dominance of Western countries in these sectors, offering a potential alternative. However, determining the currency for settlements poses a hurdle. BRICS countries currently facing the challenges of the transition from the US dollar, highlighting the need for careful consideration when choosing a currency or basket of currencies to reduce exposure to exchange rate fluctuations. Despite the challenges, Russia's support and the shared goals of BRICS members could lead to significant change in the global economy. The establishment of a new financial system by the BRICS countries could have a significant impact on the way crucial resources are valued and traded globally, leading to a shift toward economic independence and a less centralized world order. Less central but still important topics discussed include the ongoing considerations around inviting new members and the potential establishment of a platform for interested nations to gradually integrate into BRICS. Russia's Sherpa Ryabkov acknowledged the pressing need to fully integrate the new members, to make so that as a 10, we work at least as efficient, or rather more efficient, than we did within the initial 5, he stated. The second goal set by our leaders during the 2023 summit in Johannesburg is to develop the category of partner states, to create a list of such states. United Arab Emirates, Iran, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia's accession is seen as an opportunity to increase the bloc's influence on global economic and political affairs, especially in stabilizing strategic commodity markets like oil and gas. Just a quick note regarding Saudi Arabia's potential membership in BRICS. It is noteworthy that Ryabkov mentioned Saudi participation in at least 2 BRICS events under Russia's leadership. Despite their Sherpa's absence from the initial meeting in Moscow, Saudi representatives are actively considering joining. Tensions with Iran seem to be less real now, especially after both nations' delegates met in Beijing some days ago to mark 1 year since re-establishing embassies thanks to China's mediation. Some sneaky, unseen puppet masters may be pulling the strings behind Saudi Arabia's potential membership. What do you think? For further details, please check the video linked in the description. It is worth also mentioning a recent statement from Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova about Argentina's case. She declared that the doors of BRICS remain open for Argentina. Everything depends on the country's authorities. Well, the BRICS countries are taking up a bold mission to reshape the global economy. Join us to explore their ambitious vision of a modern financial and trading system. Engage with our content by liking, sharing, and subscribing for exclusive insights. Join the Think BRICS community by following the links below. We are looking forward to continue this conversation in future episodes. Thanks for watching.